Welcome to the most sought-after stretch of asphalt in the entire golf world. We are here on the east end of Long Island, Southampton, where directly to my left sits National Golf Links of America, and directly to my right sits Shinnecock Hills. These are two of the greatest, most historic golf courses in the entire world, and they sit just feet apart from one another. We're here on our journey through Long Island golf in pursuit of finding both public and private glory. Right here is where the heart of it exists. But that doesn't mean that this is all the glory that private golf in America and on Long Island has to show. We're about to check out some of the coolest, most community-based private clubs Long Island has to offer. Not everything in the world of golf is as pristine or as heralded as the land that we're standing on right now. But that doesn't mean that it's not worth visiting. We can't wait to show it to you.
This is a locals course, truly, through and through. I mean, there's a lot to say about the courses next door, but this course, when you come here, it is guys that, from all walks of life, this is where they are, you know, and this is what our township was built on. I think here is where I think you encompass everything about golf and history and architecture. You know, it's just incredible.
It even has an altitude, that one.
Yeah, I think the culture here is just so special. It's you know, 1925. We're so lucky, right? We're celebrating our centennial year this year. Any course that's able to celebrate a centennial year has to feel so privileged and fortunate to be able to kind of, you know, reflect back on the history of how that course evolved, right?
When Charles Sabin donated his farmland, it was basically to provide the golf facility for the townspeople and the people that were living here and working here and the surrounding towns in Southampton. This is the community golf club. I mean, you know, all of your doctors, business people, tradespeople, firemen, policemen, that's our membership.
Oh, it's 100% about community. I mean, this course, you park your car, you come at the first tee, you get your group, and you play golf. It's that easy. Oh, Connor, you're in trouble, buddy.
Well, it's a typical Seth Rayner golf course with a lot of the features that you see at most Seth Rayner golf courses. So there are risk and reward options all over the place out there. The way that the course was designed, there's specific holes that need to be played certain ways and approaches that need to be made in certain ways. So if you get to know it, you'll play well.
So you come to a Seth Rayner course, you expect to see a couple of template holes. The original template holes are in Scotland. They're across the Atlantic from here. But the originals in the United States are like within a mile of here, basically. It's just like, it's so beautiful and natural and like thought-provoking. Like every shot is just like, you just feel your synapses firing as you're thinking about what you're trying to play.
Oh, that's a good swing right there. This is a true par 70, but
Oh, wow.
what happens, like the front nine plays probably 2 shots. I think it plays 2 to 3 shots harder than the back.
Straight through here, like a half mile from here is Shinnecock. As a child growing up on Long Island, I like never fathomed that I would ever make it here in my life. I just thought that was like a bridge too far for me. So to be here, like, you know, you learn something about yourself, and yeah, it's sort of emotional being here, honestly. That's how it feels.
Unlike Bethpage, where there is tee time after tee time, it is a machine and it never stops. It is booked 7 days a week. This is another level. Right now, it's 3 p.m. There hasn't been a divot on the course yet because no one has played it. And it's not that no one has been here today, it's because no one has been here, period. There is one member, it is the owner, and this is your sneak peek at this private property. 3 Ponds Farm on the east end of Long Island. It is unlike anything I've seen before. And I'm not talking about on Long Island, I'm not talking about the Hamptons. It is unlike anything I've seen in golf, period.
The beauty of this is this 3 Ponds Farm is across the street from Atlantic. I would play golf with Ed Gordon, who bought this property, and he asked me if I could build a few holes because he was going to build a house here. And then I came up with a routing for 9 holes. Then Ed actually said, you know, let's have two flags and play 18 holes. So then we expanded the greens, made them bigger so that we could do that. Ryan worked at Bethpage. He also worked at Sebonack.
Yeah, it's definitely different, yeah. Bethpage it's kind of complete opposites. 50,000 rounds a year to maybe 100.
It's not a 1 through 18 routing. We have fairways that zigzag. We have greens that are shared by 4 different holes. It is a wild property.
As far as the routing of the holes, Ivan's very much involved with that. As far as which holes we pick, because there are a combination of more than 18 holes here now. As we've added holes, we've added more interest, more intrigue, more thought-provoking features. So we've got a blind par 4, a little short blind par 4. We've got that green that plays a par 3 and a tough drive par 4. And since this is a private golf course, we can do a lot of features that you wouldn't have on a normal golf course, like having a barn in the middle of the hole. Then we have this, the 13th hole and the 3rd green that is probably one of the harder holes on the golf course. And then the 18th hole, a really tough finishing hole.
Everybody comes here, they've pretty much been around the world playing golf everywhere. They love golf. They come here and it's special. Yeah, it's Disneyland of golf.
Golf on Long Island is second to none. There are some of the greatest golf courses we have ever seen built here. You know, my favorite view is coming up 18 at Atlantic, and I think it's just a great view. It's a par 5.
I had heard one of the local papers had a little article about a new golf course being built in Bridgehampton somewhere. I believe it was the first golf course built in almost a half a century. I had some time to kill, so I decided to drive over to Bridgehampton and see if I could find this golf course. And coming out of one of those service roads on the property was Lowell Showman. You know, it was a random event. Happened to run into the guy that developed it. He had such passion about the place, about golf. You could see it, you could feel it, and I was immediately, enticed to be a part of it.
Well, the Atlantic Golf Club really changed my life. Lowell Showman and I became very close. He took a big risk. It was all his money behind this course, and we stood right behind him and achieved the goal for him and achieved the goal for us. I think what Atlantic is, if you read the history of the club, it's a golf course where you can play the aerial game or the ground game. So you don't play one or the other, you can play both.
Look, the East End the golf is amazing. Golf courses are amazing, but really you have to set yourself apart, and we try to set ourselves apart with service and also with what Tony does with the golf course.
I think what makes Atlantic special is it's a very welcoming club. We like to have really good conditions on a daily basis, and I think as far as an East End golf course, it has a really rough feel, East End feel.
We have a lot of New York City people, so it's like we know our season's short, so we're here for, we call it 90 days, 100 days, and everyone's always so excited to be here, right?
In my mind, I feel like encompasses just pure Hamptons.
Berkeley Cup, what we do is we get 9 of the local East End clubs. They have their top 8 golfers in their caddy yards, and we just, we celebrate the services that caddy programs provide. Caddies are very unique. I found a hidden gem here at Atlantic. The membership and how Rick has taught the staff to treat guests here. That's huge. That's something that you have to build that. It has to be planted and seeded and grown and matured. And you feel that when you come here.
Fittingly, we are here at the wonderful, glorious Sebonack Golf Club, and I think we've stopped at probably the coolest looking of all of the golf courses out here. What is special about Sebonack?
I think the piece of land that we have here and the ability to see just endless pieces of the North Fork in Connecticut and the view of the bay. On top of that, there's an incredible amount of history that started from the Bayberry Mansion that was actually between these 2 trees here. They have pieces of the mansion that are all throughout the property, even on the driving range. They've taken the tiles that used to be the roof of the mansion and they've made them into like the blue stone that leads down into the driving range. So it's also kind of unique in the fact that this club was built in 2006. So we're definitely the new kids on the block by a lot. And I think that also adds to the awesomeness of being here and the type of people that it attracts as well.
We are currently at Rockaway Hunt Club. This is the Long Island Open, and it is a 3-day medal event. We love the LI Open because you get a taste of everything. You get the juniors, you get the college kids, the mid-ams, and then obviously sprinkling all the local pros.
I think what makes Rockaway so special is the history, the collegial sportsmanship that goes on here. Everybody participates in everything. This club has been around since 1878. It's coming up on its 150th anniversary.
It's one of the oldest clubs in the United States. It's a true seaside links golf course. We got out and in, mostly fescue around the course, very little trees. 13 holes touch the water.
First time I was ever here, it's absolutely beautiful. You can see that. The wind blows here pretty good. You know, it's an interesting course, a little bit of a link style. But yeah, we like it here.
This is the 7th hole, crossing over this canal. It's as good a golf hole as there is on Long Island, which makes it as good a golf hole as anywhere in the country.
I would say it's kind of that hidden gem, right? So you kind of hear from it word of mouth, and once people get here, they're like, wow, I can't believe I haven't been here before. Where if you like hear national, you're like, all right, I'm going to play national, or we're Shinnecock. Yeah, everybody knows that, but very few people know about Rockaway.
There aren't a lot of clubs like this one in this area. You know, I think of our peers are probably, more North Shore based or out on the end of the island, clubs that have been around a long time. And so we're just absolutely thrilled to be able to host this tournament.
Playing the tournaments, I've gotten to meet so many people, and that's the most special thing. But also the mix of courses, right? Right now we're on this like marshy, linksy kind of course. It's never ending. The type of golf you can play here versus parkland versus links. I mean, some of the best designers have designed courses here.
I would rate Inwood as fun and as good and as interesting to play on a regular basis as any of them. Top 10, top 100, top 50. What I would even rate above that, though, is the membership of this club. We're ridiculous and not ridiculous at the same time. It's the best kind of membership you can have.
The people make Inwood, you know. We have a great history, great tradition, but at the same time, all the new members that come in, all the members that have been here forever, the people here are fantastic. And most of our members are from Manhattan and Brooklyn, so we have a ton of culture and a great community.
People aren't here because they live close by and it's convenient. They're here because they love the golf course, and that's really what binds us together.
One of the cool parts about Inwood is we have this tremendous history that's been built up over now going into our 125th year. And a lot of that is based on the golf history of the club.
This is the 11th tee box, all right? And back in 1921 when we had the PGA Championship here, so Walter Hagen used to hit it down 18 and come across. They were trying to block his shortcut, and a group of pros paid to have a willow tree transplanted from the 16th hole to this spot right here. So they actually moved the willow tree on property to this spot. This is the Bobby Jones plaque. He won the 1923 US Open here. This is the 18th hole. That's the green over there. He hit a shot with his 2-iron from here to 6 feet to force a playoff with Bobby Cruikshank. For the most part, you play golf and you still hang out with the same people at the beach club, which, you know, is great because everybody is together all the time. The community here is fantastic.
All right, every story has a beginning, and this one is mine. We are here at the Rockville Links Club in Rockville Center, Long Island. This is a real egalitarian club. It's a town club. It's a place where people from the area come and get together to be around friends, to be around family. And truly, it's unlike any golf club I've ever been around in the sense that it is a community much more than it is a golf club. I know this because I worked here. I was a caddy here for 4 glorious years in college. I was a caddy scholarship recipient, and now I'm back here reprising my role as a caddy for some of the best members here. They're already yelling at me, so I gotta go.
Place has just had a renaissance. So not only do we have a waiting list for membership, but we also have predominantly younger membership than we used to have, and a lot of Rockville Center families. So But we're really in a good spot. So, and like my family, my wife plays, my daughter's a member here, my son's a member here. My son's 2-time club champ here. You know, it's like they've been here for, they love this place.
Obviously, it's a dream for everybody. You know, you're retired, you come out here on a Wednesday afternoon, you get an 18-hole round in with your buddies. But that's not the case for everyone here at the links. In fact, the vast majority of the club here are people who are still working. They're out grinding, whether their jobs are on the island or in New York City, but they come back here to play golf and to hang out and to have that community space. And in fact, that's why we're here on Wednesday. There is a Wednesday night league that is comprised of the vast majority of the members here who are professionals. And I don't mean that in terms of golf, I mean that in terms of careers and life. It's a summer-long tradition that culminates in a big playoff run in the fall.
Everybody out here on a Wednesday night, back into the grill, have some dinner, fraternize with the friends, and that's really the big element here.
Out here at the links, the membership is looking out. The people are looking out for one another. They're trying to help one another. And I think that is really like fitting for this environment. All right, folks, stay tuned with us for our next episode in the Long Island Golf Series. We're going to Bethpage.